Ah, yes. Okay, now it's working. Okay, so for number 1, we have -7 plus x equals -3. Let me zoom in. Okay, so I want to get x by itself. I'm going to isolate my variable. So I'm going to move 7 to the other side of the equation. And in order to do that, I'm going to use the inverse. So it's subtraction. So I'm going to use addition. Add 7 to both sides of the equation. -3 plus 7 gives me 4. And my answer is x equals 4. And for my second one, I have 5x equals 30. So this one, it's multiplication. So I'm going to do the opposite of multiplication, which is division. Divide by 5 on both sides of the equation, because what I do to one side, I must do to the other. And 30 divided by 5 gives me 6. So x equals 6. Okay, so we are doing things a little different today. Or this week, we're not going to do big ideas math. We're going to do kind of a packet type situation. It might be fun. I hope it's fun. It's going to be what is it called? This is 4th period. Crime scene investigation. So let me pull that up. Okay, let me share that tab. Okay, so you guys are each going to get assigned this crime scene investigation. A crime has been committed by one of the 10 suspects below. You have been brought in as a police consultant, and you need to analyze the evidence to eliminate 9 of the suspects. So here are our suspects. I mean, to me, I think that Selena Gomez looks suspicious, but we'll see. So you're going to go through and solve all these equations to get the answer. And then at the very end, you'll eliminate someone. And then you're going to put who is the thief. So I'm going to go ahead and assign this really quick so that you guys can look at it and follow along if you would like. 1 point. Okay, so you guys will each have a copy of this. So to evidence type 1, evidence 1 and evidence 2 are reviews of what we did last week, solving 1-step and 2-step equations. So those ones we're going to do on your own. So like later after class, it's 20 problems. I believe in you guys. But today we're going to do solving equations with variables on both sides. So I'm going to do a lesson, and then we'll work through the 10 problems together in class. What I have done for you guys is we're going to use a new program titled TeacherMade. And so what it does is it grades it for me. So I'm going to show you guys that. So you'll go on teachermade.com, log in with your Google account. So, and then over here where I have x equals, you'll just click and then type in your answer. And you'll do that for all of them. And then when you're done, you click I'm done, or you can click save for later and come back and work on it later. It's just nice because it does the grading for me, and then I don't have to go through and grade everything. So this is the one, it's going to be in the Google Classroom 1 and 2, and I'll title it Do It On Your Own. And then evidence 3 is what we'll do today. So we're going to now do our lesson. So I told fifth period this, but I never got around to telling you guys. If we were in person, everyone would be getting a copy of this Big Ideas Math journal, student journal, and it just has like, it goes along with each thing we do and has extra problems. It's nice because you can put all your notes in it and kind of keep it together. So the notes I posted last week were from this, and then this week we're gonna start with 1.3, and I'm gonna be writing in these journals. If you would like a copy of this journal, I have over 200 of them in my classroom just sitting here, and we get them every year, and so I have a bunch of extras. So if you want one, you can come to the school and pick one up from Mrs. Tesh or Lupe in the office, and they will just give you one. And then when I work on it in class, you can do it with me. So I just wanted to make you guys aware of that. If you would like it, it is available for you. So if you want to write in it, if you want to come get one and then do it right along in with me after or on Wednesday, you can go ahead and do that. So I'm going to be writing in it today, and then doing a little lesson, and then we'll work on the evidence 3 together. Does that make sense for everyone? Okay, so today is solving equations with variables on both sides. So to solve an equation with variables on both sides, simplify one or both sides of the equation, then use inverse operations to get all the variables on one side, and then isolate the variable and solve. So for our first one, we have 10 minus 4x equals negative 9x. So what I like to do first is get all my variables on one side. Since this one already has the variable alone, I'm going to choose to move all my variables to the right side of the equation. But for this one, since we have a mixture on both, we'll do it a little bit different. But so for this first one, I'm going to get all my variables on one side of the equation. So what am I going to do to the 4x to get it on the other side? Add, subtract, divide, or multiply? Okay, I'm going to add 4x to both sides of the equation to get the variable on one side and the constant on the other. So that will come down, and I'll be left with negative 9 plus 4 gives me 5x. Now it's just a one-step equation like I've done before. So I'm going to divide by 5 to get x by itself. What I do to one side of the equation, I must do to the other. So the 5s will cancel out, and I'll be left with x equals, oh, it's negative 5, my bad. So I'll be left with negative 2. And then I can check this by putting back negative 2 into the equation. So 10 minus 4 times negative 2 equals negative 9 times negative 2. 9 times 2 gives me 18. 10 plus 8, 18 equals 18. So I know negative 2 is correct. Can you guys see this, or do I need to zoom in? Okay, if no one's responding, I'm going to keep it like this. Okay, zoom in. Okay. Okay. So it's hard because it's backwards of what I'm looking at it. It doesn't look right. It's mirror. So it's kind of hard for me to move the book. Okay. Next one. Once again, we're going to solve the equation by simplifying, and then we're going to move all the variables to one side and the numbers to the other, and then solve. So first I'm going to simplify. So everything in the parentheses is going to get multiplied by by 3. So 3 times a 3x would give me 9x. 3 times a negative 4 would give me negative 12. Next up, everything on the right side of the equation is going to get multiplied by 1/4. So 1/4 times 32x is going to give me 8x. And then a positive 56 times 1/4 gives me 14. Does that make sense, or does anyone need me to go over a step again? Okay. So that was just simplifying both sides of the equation. Next, I'm going to move my variables to one side. So you can either choose to put them on the left or the right. It's up to you. I'm going to move them to the left because 9 is bigger than 8, and I like to move it so that I don't have to work with negative numbers, if that makes sense, because subtracting 8 would give me 1, or if I subtracted 9, I'd have to deal with negative numbers. So I like to try and keep it positive. So I'm going to put my variables on the left side. You can choose the left or the right. Either way will give you the same answer. I'm just going to choose the left. So to move the 8, I'm going to do the opposite, which is subtract. So those will cancel out. 9 minus 8 gives me just x. And then I'm going to bring down with what's left over. So I have x minus 12 equals 14. And now I'm going to solve for x. So I'm going to get the constants on one side and the variable on the other. So I'm going to add 12 to both sides. Cancels out, bring down my x. And 14 plus 12 gives me 26. So I'm left with x equals 26. Okay? So that's how we solve equations with variables on both sides. So I'm going to go in and assign evidence 3 now in Google Classroom so that you guys can see that, and then we can work on it all together. Oops. Okay. So I'm going to share a Chrome tab. Okay. So I'm going to go in and assign this. The whole assignment together is like 50 problems, but we're going to do 10 together today, and then we'll do another 10 on Wednesday and 10 more on Friday. So you'll just have to do the other 20 on your own by next Monday. So we'll do 30 of them in class, and then 20 of them you'll do on your own. So, oops. I'm going to put so in case you missed what I said on the first day, any assignment that has the blue and orange circle emojis next to it are going to be put into PowerSchool for points. Anything that doesn't have the blue and orange next to it is just extra stuff. So that way you don't have to be like, what's going to go in the grade book and what's not. So this whole assignment is going to be broken up, into different chunks, but it's all going to go into PowerSchool as one assignment just to make it so we don't have like 3 different assignments. So I think it'll be worth probably 30 points in PowerSchool. I haven't decided yet, but it'll be called Crime Scene Investigation in PowerSchool. So I'm going to go ahead and assign it now. You might have to exit out of Google Classroom and open up a new tab to get the assignment for some reason. I don't know, Google Classroom's weird like that. So you'll open it up and then it'll look like this. You'll log in with your Google account. And then you'll go in here and type in the answers. And then once you're done, you'll click I'm done. And then it'll grade it for me, which is super helpful. And then I have shared with you guys this document just in case you want to see it all together. And then we'll do like the results page in class together on Friday. So I'm going to do it on the document camera again so that you guys can see it. We'll be doing evidence 3 go to 10 suspects. So that's today's assignment. So if you want to have scratch paper with you to work some of these out, that might be helpful. Without further ado, let's get started. I want to be able to see me. There we go. Okay. So evidence 3, number patterns. $12 million was stolen in this crime. All the suspects have stolen money in the past, and with most criminals, the amounts have increased. Eliminate any suspects who would not have at least $12 million. So X equals whatever the answer is the answer in millions. So we're going to go through and solve all of these and then eliminate suspects that don't have at least $12 million. So for number 1, we have 9x minus 7x equals 28. So I'm going to combine my like terms. 9x minus 7x will give me 2x equals 28. And then in order to solve, I'm going to divide both sides by 2. And x equals 28 divided by 2 would give me 14. So then that would mean 14 million. So that number, x equals 14, that suspect is above 12, so we can keep that suspect in the game. Okay, so now go ahead and solve number 2 on your own, and then I'll go over it in just a second. So 2x minus 10 equals 6. So you're going to distribute the 2 to everything inside the parentheses and then solve. And I'll go over it in just a second. So if you don't want to if you want to work on your own for these 10 problems, you're more than welcome to. I'm just going to go over these answers in class so that you guys, if you want help, can get help. So 2 times x will give me 2x. 2 times negative 10 will give me negative 20 equals 6. I want to get that variable by itself, so I'm going to move my constant numbers to the other side of the equation. I'm going to do the opposite or the inverse to move it to the other side of the equation. So the opposite of subtraction is addition, so I'm going to add 20 to both sides to get x by itself. 6 plus 20 gives me 26. I'm going to divide to get rid of the 2 because it's being multiplied, and the opposite of multiplication is division. What I do to one side of the equation, I must do to the other. X will equal 13. So for number 2, the answer is x equals 13. So that's what you'll put into Teacher Made where it says x equals. You'll click on that and put in 13. And then we'll keep this suspect with us because their answer is over 12. Does anyone need me to go over it again on how I got 13 as my answer? So let's go to evidence 3. Looks like I have 7 people that have signed into it. Good job. And so, yeah, you can work ahead if you want, or we're just going to be doing these problems right now. Okay, moving on to number 3. Okay, so for number 3, I have 2x plus 3x equals 70. So go ahead and try and solve that on your own, and then I'll go over the answer in a second. Is anyone not able to log into the teachermade.com website? If you're having troubles, just type it in the chat. Okay, so I'm going to do combine my like terms for number 3. So 2x plus 3x gives me 5x equals 70. I'm going to divide by 5 because it's being multiplied, and the opposite of multiplication is division. And 70 divided by 5 gives me 14. So x equals 14. So once again, it's above 12, so the suspect stays. Okay, so for number 4, I'm going to multiply everything in my parentheses by 3. So 3 times 2x gives me 6x. 3 times 1 gives me 3. And then I'm going to keep the 87. So now I want to get x by itself. So I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides. Bring down my 6x. 87 minus 3 gives me 84. And then I'm left with 6x equals 84, a simple one-step equation. And so I'm going to divide both sides by 6 to get x by itself. And I'm left with x equals 14. All right, moving on to number 5. I have negative 6x plus 3x equals negative 15. So I'm going to combine my like terms, which are the x's. So what's negative 6x plus 3x? Go ahead and type it in the chat. Negative 3x, correct. So I'm combining my like terms and I get negative 3x equals negative 15. So now it's negative 3x equals negative 15. I'm going to divide both sides by negative 3 to get x by itself. And I'm left with x equals 5. So my answer is x equals 5. And like it said, eliminate any suspects who would not have at least 12 million. So through this problem, I was able to eliminate suspect number 5 because they don't have at least $12 million. So I'm going to cross out suspect number 5. When we come back to do the results later, we'll look at all my things. Okay, so we have about 3 minutes left. You guys have 5 problems left here for this one to work on for your for today. And then I'm going to go into our Google Classroom and assign the other ones. It's the 1 and 2 step equations. So evidence 1 and 2. And you guys have until next Monday to complete all of these. But we'll keep working on them in class on Wednesday and Friday. And don't stress about getting all of them done before Wednesday. It's not until next Monday. So go ahead and finish up 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 on your own. And if you need help, email me, or we can go over it on Wednesday for the bell ringer. We'll go over them if you guys need help. So you guys are good to go, and I will see you on Wednesday. Have a good day.
You too.
Miss H.
Yeah.